Aloha, everyone. My name is Anderson Lay. I'm the Artistic Director for the Hawaii International Film Festival. Thanks for coming to the 40th edition of HIFF, presented by Holly Kalani. We're very honored and excited to, hopefully, a lot of people who are participating, viewing this Q&A, has just watched the world premiere of Lumpia with a Vengeance. This is a film from writer, director, and producer Patricia Janelsa, and also AJ Calome, the producer and editor, who were with me at the festival 17 years ago when we screened when we world premiered the first Lumpia to a very to a sold-out audience who actually adored the film, and so it's great to come full circle 17 years later to finally present the sequel. Reboot sequel. I don't know what to call it, but it's the Desperado of Fogtown. But we're very honored to have this film, and also with the cast and crew here from Lumpia with a Vengeance. But first off, I just want to before we start, I just want to make some quick housekeeping announcements. Stand by. So. Again, this is Lumpia with a Vengeance, written, directed by, and produced by Patricia Janelsa. We'd like to extend our thanks to LNL Hawaii for sponsoring this program, and this is part of our panorama section. So for quick programming updates on the festival, up-to-date information on additions to our program, and the full schedule of films, events, hip talk story sessions, and Q&As, visit our website at hiff.org. Audience award voting. To participate in our Hawaii News Now Audience Award, please head to hawaiinewsnow.com/hiff. Cast your vote for your favorite narrative, documentary, and short film. Mahalo to Hawaii News Now for their support. So obviously, people who've seen this film, you just saw it. On the page, you'll see the Audience Award button. And you just click on that, and it'll take you directly to the Audience Award site to put in your votes. Okay. So without further ado, Pat, how are you doing?
I just very overwhelmed with a lot of Lumpia love right now. It's a long time coming, 7 years, as you know. Yeah. And then so we've got this big crew here. So if you don't mind, if you'd like to introduce everyone, that'd be great. Sure. I'm going to start the Brady Bunch style on my left here, or the side here. Earl Bailon, associate producer of the film, and also plays G-Dog George. Say what's up, Earl.
How's it going, folks?
Oh, hey.
What's up?
Hey, and we have Kaylin Scrivener here playing Richard.
Hello.
Yes, Kaylin, say hi. Hey, we have here Katrina Demaranan, who plays Gemini.
Yeah.
You're muted, Katrina, but we can hear. We can. There you go.
Woo! There it is. That's what I was saying. Yay!
We have Francis Custodio, who plays Moon Moon, reprising his role from Lumpia 1.
Hey everyone, good to see everyone.
Moon Walkers.
How you guys doing? Yeah.
Moon Walkers.
You're right. Moon Walkers.
We have the Filipino wrecking machine here, Mark Munoz, also the co-producer, playing Kuya.
Ooh.
Yeah, Mark, bro.
I'm saying hi in your language, Kuya.
Subtitles.
And we have definitely editor, producer, AJ Colomai from Xylophone Films.
Hello, everybody.
AJ.
Hello, everybody. What's up, everyone? Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to guys. I mean, AJ and Pat. I mean, I've been kind of on this journey as well with you guys. I think I went to your announcement, your Kickstarter announcement. Was it 5 years ago in Daly City?
Yeah, it was 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
10th anniversary screening of our
wow.
one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it's finally to see it come to fruition full circle. It's absolutely incredible. But so Pat, can you maybe just give us in a quick, in a nutshell, just basically the first Lumpia, and then the story behind it.
Yeah, I mean, this started out in Daly City. A bunch of neighborhood kids. I grew up in Daly City, and we basically would shoot homemade movies with each other, called Kid Heroes. And next thing you know, Lumpia 1 was actually a kind of a reunion movie because I went to USC Film School. So we got together and made the original Lumpia movie because we thought we were older. We could let's make a movie. This one had a story. And so Lumpia was created for fun as a reunion movie. It took us 7 years to complete that movie because AJ Colomai came over and helped me finish the film. And then by the time the movie came out, it became a cult hit. We call it the ultimate homemade movie just because of its flavor, And then celebrate the movie 10th year anniversary, we crowdfunded a sequel. We wanted to see if there was an appetite for the sequel. And lo and behold, on a dramatic fashion, by the way, we raised probably over $20,000 that last night. I still can't explain what happened that night. So the community, our Lumpia lovers and our backers, 712 of them to be exact, kickstarted that project, greenlit the project, and 7 years later, and again, I don't know what's up with 7 years. Here we are. We finally debuted it to everyone at the Hawaii International Film Festival. So
yeah. I mean, can you talk about that first screening, your world premiere screening of the first Lumpia at the Dole Canyon Theaters? Do you remember?
Yeah, no, I remember it very vividly, Anderson, because it was imagine a homemade movie playing in a real movie theater. We were at the Dole Cannery Theater, and AJ even said, "Oh my God, we're playing in the theater, playing next to the Matrix." Like this homemade film. Right. And we sold out all our screenings. We had our first variety review there, and I think being at that festival really put our first movie on the map. So thank you, Anderson. You believed in the movie even before me and AJ even believed in the film. So
yeah. No, I definitely saw something in it. I saw like a lot of passion, a lot of fun. It's definitely no budget, but that was what's so great about the film. And I think especially with local people, with Hawaii people, Filipino culture is just so ingrained in kind of local culture, right? So I think it's just like played the audience like putty, man. They were putty in your hands. They were laughing at everything, and stuff like that. So it's great. It's great. So, so talk about, getting this new cast on board for the sequel.
I mean, the challenge was who to bring back, and I think the key, I think we all agreed that we can't do a Lumpia sequel without the heart of Lumpia, and that was Francis Custodio, who plays Moon Moon, and of course Edward Bayon. I mean, we definitely have a lot of the original cast that came back, but they were the key. And then, a lot of it was also trying to add more people from the community and it started with neighborhood kids, but to add more folks, and to the point that we had Earl come on, Katrina, Kaylin. I mean, Mark Munoz coming on board was also very key for us to have someone of his reputation joining us. And then there was checkpoints, right? And then Danny Trejo joined us a year later. Yeah. So this neighborhood project now includes a UFC fighter and now a Hollywood icon in Danny Trejo.
Right,
so
right.
So that's it's amazing.
I mean, before talking about getting the new cast on board, I mean, you actually make a great point. Is that how about Francis? You coming? I mean, was it difficult? What was great is that you brought pretty much a lot of people from the original back on board. 17, showing their lives, at least over a decade, 15 years later, right? So, was it easy to get them all back, or was it hard to convince, or what was the process?
Well, Francis, you should talk. Francis was the hardest person to convince. Francis, you should talk about what.
Why is that, Francis? Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I think after the first one, it took us 7 years to make it, and it was just a grind. Like Pat was saying, it was a 7 year. When we filmed the first one, I was 16 years old, and by the time we finished it, I was 23. And you can see me get older as I run that hill. From the bottom, I was 16. When I got to the top, I was 23. And I think I was gaining weight and getting darker as I looks like I went to Jollibee or something on my way up to the hill. But, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But so when Pat presented, the opportunity to make the film, it was a little tough because I have 3 kids. I was coaching basketball and baseball during that time. I was also going to school, and I have my own company, so it was just a lot going on. And I told Pat, I'm like, man, I don't know if I can,
No, tell them your full-time job. You're being cool. You got to tell them what you do as your full-time job. What are you?
So I'm a CPA. I'm a partner in a firm. So I'm one of the 4 partners, and running our tax and audit department in my company.
That's the last thing he needs. The last thing he needs is being in a movie. I mean, he has a good job.
Right.
Yeah. Throwing that in there, it wasn't easy. So it was tough. Yeah. But Pat did reassure me, this is an opportunity not many people get to have. So what, and it's hard to say no to Pat. So
right. I mean, was Pat saying like, "Oh, Francis, by the way, we're going to shoot your scenes in April." So like,
after April. But yeah. Well, we made it work. I mean, I think we consolidated all my scenes into like a couple days, and Pat's pretty flexible in that sense. So we all made it work. But thinking about it now was totally worth it. So
yeah, absolutely.
It was a journey, and got to work with professionals and really fun people, and it's amazing.
It was like visiting old friends again, just seeing. It's like, oh, I remember that guy. From the first Lumpia. It's like it was really fun. Go ahead.
Oh no! I was just saying. I think the best part about Lumpia 2 was just, I think, the wedding scene where everyone from Lumpia 1 and all our
spoiler, hey, spoiler, hey, spoiler alert.
Okay. That was the best part.
All right,
just seeing old friends.
I'm the spoiler police today. I'm the spoiler police.
Yeah, you spoiler police.
Lumpia demands your silence, man. Lumpia demands your silence. I see you guys posting spoilers online.
Lumpia demands your silence.
Whoa.
Nice optimist.
Yeah. So Pat, talk about getting the new crew on board, the new cast.
Everyone had a different story. I mean, Kaylin and Katrina, they auditioned. Mark was someone I saw his last fight in Manila, when he did his farewell speech, and I saw just how much he was kuya, man. I saw him, and I saw the Filipino Wrecking Ball when he did that Miley Cyrus parody, and I was like, this guy can be funny. And he was already someone that I was eyeing, and it was just a matter of him saying yes. Both me and Mark have this thing with anti-bullying. We both have been bullied as young, and so we bonded through our experience and trauma in a way through our experiences. And Earl, I casted. He was actually helping me on the writing process, and I just said, Earl, you need to play this part. And so it was a blessing. Everything came so I don't know. Now that you look back at it, there's really no one else that could have really fulfilled these roles.
Yeah. I mean, Mark, I know that you, we're talking about the anti-bullying thing and stuff like that. And also, I think your work post your fighting career is very much rooted in the community, So you just talk about kind of the community feel and the community process of making this film. I mean, did you fit right in? I assume you did.
Yeah, I fit right in. I had talked to Pat, and immediately I was so interested in doing it. I was like, what? Where do I sign? Where I'm in,
Yeah.
Immediately I was drawn to it, and the fact that it had a story like mine, I was just like, I need to do this because there's so many parallels to it, and who wouldn't want to be in a film with basically our culture, and I loved it, and I love this story, and I love the story behind the film, and and everything about it.
Yeah. Katrina and Kaylin, I mean, you auditioned for the film. How was the process? I mean, maybe Kaylin, you can start first.
Yeah. How did I audition? Is that what you're?
Yeah. I mean, but basically, did you audition for the role that for Richard's character, or were you looking for? I mean, was it kind of an open casting for other characters, or?
I have terrible memory. I think I can recall the exact day when I auditioned.
Right.
No, I can't recall it at all.
Okay, well, what about the process when you were shooting? I mean, was it primarily shooting in high school. Are you from the area? Are you from the Bay or?
I'm from the South Bay, so I usually had to drive up to Daly City, and then there was a couple times when we filmed down in LA, and we had to drive down there.
Got it.
Shooting was pretty normal for most movies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You show up and you wait a little while for your scene, and then hopefully they get to you. And it was a normal shoot.
Yeah, with a lot of lumpia. Was there a lot of lumpia?
There was a couple nights where they just served lumpia.
Hey.
But Mark had to go first. He always had first dibs on lumpia, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be like the movie. It has to be first dibs.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I'll get all the leftovers.
Yeah, Katrina. So like, I mean, I love your character.
Thank you.
Did you? I mean, did you have a hand in any of the the style or costume design too, or anything like, or crafting this very unique character?
Honestly, okay, well, when I first auditioned, I wasn't auditioning for Miss Manalo. I wanted April. But when, they're describing who Miss Manalo was and they were making me read sort of like a paragraph of like a monologue, then I was like, okay, I feel like I would fit more into that, but let's see what they want. Because Miss Manalo, I remember her age was a lot higher, okay? It was more. It was not my age. So I was like, I don't think I'm gonna, what? I don't look like I'm 40. But it worked out. And then as far as like costume and everything, our wardrobe people were they were just so great at knowing what Pat wanted for the film. And, there was some times where, I would sort of put in my input, like, I think Miss Manalo like wouldn't wear this. I feel like it's too, it shows off too much. And I think like she's like still classy, even though she's evil, and the vibe that I was going for was more like Maleficent. That was sort of like my inspiration, I guess, as to like how I wanted to play Miss Manalo, or not Miss Manalo, well, Miss Manalo too, but Gemini. Yeah.
I can totally see that. I mean, it's like a cross of Maleficent and like the Baroness, like from G.I. Joe.
The Baroness, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earl. So like, I mean, you were also originally, you were actually brought on board to work behind the scenes, right? And then
yes,
yeah,
originally.
So just talk about working on the behind the scenes, working on the story and what have you. So.
Oh, cool. So it's been a really interesting process. Like I said, 7 years ago, right? I knew Pat. We had worked on several like spec commercials, and he had me as an actor on all those. I'm not exactly sure how we got into writing, but he brought me in and my writing partner Justin Keyson. Shouts to him. And actually a different project. Now that I think about it, it was something else. He brought us on. And then one day we were having a writing session, and Pat dropped this on us, and he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing Lumpia too." And immediately Justin and me were both, "I'm in, whatever you need." And we were there from the inception, like me, Pat, and coming up with like ideas for like what, like all those cool gadgets that you have in the Mark, that you have in the Lumpia showcase. All that we were coming up with all of that stuff, and just consulting with Pat about like story beats and all that stuff. So I mean, it's been really interesting to see the script evolve from what it was in that first draft, and to like our shooting draft, and eventually to get cast, because I had no idea.
Right.
So let me tell you this: is that one day Pat called me up. And he was working, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to take a break. Do you think we can go over the first 10 minutes of the script or whatever, and we'll just stream it on Facebook?" I'm like, "All right, cool." So I go there. We go over the first few pages, and he was like, "I'm actually here to offer you the role of G-Dog." And I was like, "What?" So it was a trip, man. It was this entire project has been a ride from beginning to end, and like I'm here for all of it.
Yeah. Did you have to drive that food truck?
I drove the custard food truck. I drove it like all of 10 feet, but yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
That was important.
driver's license. I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
got it. Yeah, got it. So AJ, I mean, you are an editor by trade. You know, you work on a lot of these like CW superhero shows, what have you, and like I think you and Pat speak the same kind of geek language. You know, like to call that kind of Comic-Con Hall H kind of mindset. Yeah, so like it's like, you know, just talk about the, you know, I mean, this film actually has a lot of special effects. So yeah, so like, can you talk about kind of how did you? I mean, obviously working on these CW shows, it, you know, gives you a lot of training to do that, but you're still working on a budget. So, you know, I mean, just talk about the process regarding that.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to our visual effects team who knocked out around 684 visual effects shots from compositing, CG, those anime shots. So yeah, it was a mix of like artists that we had been working with, you know, for the last 3-4 years with our music videos, and artists that I had recruited through like social media, and this was before March, so we were kind of already working remotely, you know, and then when things kind of happened, we just kind of continued, and we were all staying home, so like our workflow got even more tighter. But yeah, just from my experience and working on, shows with big effects, we were able to really coordinate everything and get the workflow tightened up so that everything came out correctly, and Pat had time to give revisions, give notes where we can really hone down the look and feel of this sort of comic book / anime kind of video game style movie. So yeah, it was a good mix of like my industry colleagues as well as like folks from our community and people who have been supporting us and new folks that we reached out to.
Pat, so like, with this film, do you feel like, I kind of, there's a, kind of comparison to what Robert Rodriguez did with, Desperado, right? And El Mariachi, which he shot for like literally nothing, and then Desperado, which is kind of like a reboot sequel, kind of sort of, like it's, I don't know how to categorize it, but I mean, what was your thinking behind? I see this as a an actual sequel, obviously, right? But I mean, was this kind of like more of a, in a sense, oh man, if I could do it over again, I would like to add this and this and this. No, because this is your superhero movie in a sense, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, you hit right on the head. I mean, this was totally inspired by Robert Rodriguez and El Mariachi. I mean, the concept of the hero was me and my brother watching that film, saying, "Oh my gosh, there's a Mexican holding a guitar as a weapon. Like, what if there was a Filipino version of that?" And the best that we could think of was a guy dressed in a barong Tagalog throwing lumpia as a weapon. Which my brother thought it was so ridiculous, but I hung on to that, and to this day I'm still justifying it. And so in the same sense, when creating a reboot, yeah, of course, there's always, every time I see that homemade version, every time I see it, I said, man, if I only had more, if I could only use what the resources I had now, or what if it could look cooler? I mean, in nerddom, we can accept that a hero can dress up like a bat or a spider, right? So, and they make that look cool. They make Batman, Spider-Man look cool all the time. So I felt like I could make Kuya cooler. I mean, not only just cast Mark Munoz. I mean, that's already cool already, but to make just that fighting style cool. And it's funny that, yes, I did use the whole, what Robert Rodriguez did with Desperado, renaming it not Lumpia 2, renaming it Lumpia with a Vengeance. Yeah. And so when Danny Trejo was actually on set, I told him, this is coming full circle. This was actually inspired by El Mariachi, and then you were in Desperado. That's what, reinvented Danny Trejo. And now you're here shooting the scene. And so in one of our, that was a moment I always appreciated being with Danny, him knocked down on the floor. We're sitting on the floor together and we're telling the story, and we're both just looking at each other. I'm like, wow, it was weird. It was one of those moments that I just couldn't believe was happening.
Yeah. Mark, I mean, I know this is your first movie. I mean, like this, you're entrusting them, the filmmakers and Pat to make you look cool. Right. So, but did you? I mean, like I'm not a filmmaker, but like when they're establishing shots, like it's like you gotta do this, or you're gonna throw this fake, you're gonna throw a Lumpia that's gonna be added on later in the computer. Did you feel silly, or you like, or did you totally trust these guys? Like, oh yeah.
I totally trusted them, man. there was a scene when Danny Trejo threw the taquito and I threw the lumpia.
Yeah.
And on the first shot, we actually threw the taquito and the lumpia and it hit.
Oh wow!
I remember that. We were cheering for that.
Yeah, that was a weird, amazing.
One take.
What are the chances? What are the chances that on take one? On take one.
No,
We were watching on the screen like.
We even need to CG this?
it was instant connection, man. So
Yeah.
Taquito boy.
Yeah, taquito boy.
Taquito boy.
So I trusted them. I actually was in a movie before this with Here Comes the Boy and Kevin James
Oh yeah, got it. Yeah.
with the Happy Madison group. Like I was in that movie with them, and I saw all the behind the scenes. And for me, like I just I trusted Pat, I trusted AJ, and I trusted just the whole process. So yeah, I loved being on set. I loved being on set and loved being in with the cast. He had an amazing cast, and we felt like family, man. It was awesome.
I gotta say it was hard though. Every time I say, "Hey, fight now," you gotta do this. It was like I gotta tell him how to fake fight because he's so used to just throwing them up.
Yeah.
Like, no, Mark, don't do it, Mark. No, not for real.
Control your strengths.
Control yourself.
I remember the test shoot, like even the stunties, they were like, "Oh my God, his hands are so heavy."
That's true though. I was like, wait, I really can't just hit him, so.
Well, I have a question, Mark. Did you actually flip that one of the
Charlotte?
bakers in the diaper?
Actually,
The sumo wrestler?
I picked him
You
up.
did?
You picked up Americus, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, I picked him up.
That was real.
That guy's huge.
That was real?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Picked him up.
Oh my God. I was like, no way. That was dope.
For the people who are here on the Zoom and watching on Facebook Live, you want to ask any questions to the cast and crew, please just add those questions to the Q&A box or just in the comment section on the Facebook Live video of the post, okay? To talk about Pat, I know you have, the film is just the film, of course it's the film, but then, there are a lot of like a geek, you're also producing a lot of other ancillary stuff, right? You're you're doing comic books, you're doing stickers, you're doing, all this other stuff. Can you talk about kind of the campaign or the idea behind, just building this kind of Lumpia or, Kuya Lumpia Man universe?
Well, a lot of it was really keeping the community and our backers excited about the project. It was 7 years that we had to, keep people like thinking that we're still working on the film. I got to mention that, at some point, and that's what kept us going was like knowing that we had an audience. Like, yeah, the money was never there. We'd always run out. The resources were never there. But anytime we always felt that we were going to give up, we always thought about the 712 backers and also the Steven Spark backers, just all the people who would support us, knowing that they were waiting for us in the end. Yeah. And so for us to, so of course, trying to keep them excited, we created a comic book because we had time over the summer, and they crowdfunded that comic book, A Prelude, and it's a comic book film, so it totally warrants that kind of world in that geek world. But I look, aside from all the comic book stuff, this movie is very personal. I know through the wackiness and all that stuff. This movie was shot in my hometown. It's shot in my old high school. I had people that, from my church group back in the day to just high school and college friends coming in there. So for me, comic book movies, as you know, Anderson, it's all about Easter eggs, right? So whether or not you want to be a standalone film, you're also trying to reward those who saw the first film. So we sprinkled it as much as we can with old Easter eggs, for people who did watch the first movie. And for me, I have my personal Easter eggs. There's certain things that for me, that I put in there for me. So yeah.
So it warrants multiple viewings. Right?
Yes, that's what it's built for.
Yeah, that's what it's built for.
Yeah, it really, really does.
Yeah. So we got a question. From Winston Imano. Hey, Winston, please speak on what it means to you. This is to everyone. To play and direct characters that are authentic to your own ethnic background. pick on you first.
What it means to me for my
Yeah.
character. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm super proud of, playing the character that I play, which is the villain. I feel like, not only are Filipino women not put on the main screen, and if they are, they're not really, a main character, or even playing a character like I got to play. So I feel super proud that I get to be a Filipino woman, brown skin, okay, and, playing such a strong and like powerful role in a movie. So, I feel like in a way, I hope that I'm inspiring future directors out there, or filmmakers, or anyone in the movie industry to sort of think outside the box when it comes to casting, because, all of us are talented. We have our specific skills and talents that we can bring to the table. They just need to sort of open up their mind on that sense. But being a Filipino woman and playing Gemini and Miss Manalo too, where she's running, not only is she running the drug ring, which is all men, majority, but, she's the leader. And, so she knows what she wants. She's going to go and get it. And I feel like that represents a modern Filipino woman. So I'm super proud. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Earl?
I feel like I was asked this question recently, but I do want to say that like it has been really I think I use this word too. It has been really cathartic to be able to play a character that is authentic to my own background. Because playing, I've been working in the film industry and entertainment for about 13 years now. And the amount of times that I've played a character that is Filipino, I can count. I don't even need an entire hand to count that. And the fact that it's happening now and I got a chance to do that, in the last 3 years, really more than to even eclipse what I had done in the past in 12 years. And I don't know, it's been really cathartic, and it just goes to show that like we really do need more representative stories. Just because I think that like when you have like a representative story and you have people that are playing that are authentic, it brings a level of like nuance that you wouldn't get any other way. So like this has been very cathartic for me again, and I just hope that this is just the start of the trend or the beginning of the trend. And like and it's not just isolated to Filipinos. It's like BIPOC people all over the place. It's authentic stories from authentic creators, authentic writers of color, and I hope that we're just a part of that wave.
Mark, I mean, as a Filipino superhero, I mean, come on. I mean, you're a superhero to a lot of to throngs of fans already. So are you just playing yourself?
And I don't have big words like Earl with cathartic, but it was very emotional.
Yeah.
Something that was I was emotionally tied to, and not only was I bullied when I was younger, and it led me to wrestling, which led me to mixed martial arts, and then now I'm known as a Filipino wrecking machine, and I swang on a wrecking ball, and Pat saw me and said, "Hey, I want to cast this guy," So
I want that one.
Yeah. So I just
that doggy.
It was awesome, man. I really loved the film, and I fell in love with these guys and the cast and the crew, and the whole story behind it. With him getting bullied and him saving people and stuff like that. I see myself in the character, really, in Kuya, So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and like Earl said, it was cathartic for me, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Spread the word, cathartic.
Yeah, cathartic. Yeah. Cathartic, reckoning. These are words that we hear a lot nowadays. So, I mean, Pat. I mean, maybe Earl, Pat, AJ. You guys. I mean, Earl. You said it so eloquently about just bringing an authentic, bringing to fruition of an authentic story and an authentic characters to your community and what have you. And I find it really interesting in the the beginning of the film that you have the definitions of kuya, and then you have the definitions of the crab mentality, right? So it's like, can you? I have my own Vietnamese American community or Asian American community or Hawaii community and stuff like that, and just like when it comes to talking about kind of the prejudices that are within our own community when it comes to FOBs, and all, like Bobs and what have you, or like, or maybe caricatures. Do you think in this day and age, it's like things can go too far when it comes to, like exploring these issues where, when you have stuff like, or do you think it's like, it's all depends on the context?
Well, I mean, that's why, that's why the character of Tyrone was the most challenging character, because I'm taking a villain that most people really hated from the original one, and I'm really trying to make him I'm trying to make him sympathetic.
Yeah.
And the movie works if you feel sorry for his character. There's a lot going on. Forgiveness, crab mentality and all the negative things that comes with it. It's stuff that exists in every community. But I think the one thing that, and that's why the hero of Kuya is very important, because he's not there choosing sides per se. He's really just trying to bring everyone together. This whole the concept of what Lumpia does. Lumpia could bring everyone together. It doesn't matter if they're Filipino or what have you. So whatever prejudices and whatever we have against each other, Kuya doesn't really do much. If you look at it, he really just inspires other people to really be themselves. And I think that's the most powerful thing to do, is to lead by example. And so his character is something that, I aspire to be. And I think that was true in making the movie. Like we all had to, we never had anything to, we never had everything we wanted, whether it's the resources or things to get this movie done. But it's only because everyone rallied and believed in it, and that we were able to make something very beautiful, right? It's just this, and that's the true beauty of this film and our community and just the power of Lumpia, I call it. Right.
Do you feel that, like now, I'm sorry, AJ, you're going to say something.
Oh, no, just to tighten up, wrap it up, but his, what Pat was saying, and this is done in a way where it's entertaining, we do have those definitions in the beginning, but we're not really, I don't feel we're not really nailing it, we're not really hammering it on the head. It's put out there, it's a little bit of subtext, but it's there. Yeah. I think the way the message is out there is just enough, and you're just watching, you're focused on the characters and their growth.
Right. Do you feel like in the way of now in this kind of world of Netflixes and streamers and stuff like that, where where there's like a need for content. Apparently I read that there's 500 TV series being produced in the US alone, right? And you're looking at not only but these are not confined to North America, confined to all over the world. There's streamers in every territory, right? Can you guys hear me? Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, sorry. So do you feel that this is a day and age of where, if this was made, granted you made the first Lumpia 17 years ago, but if it was 20 years ago, these types of stories wouldn't have been necessarily produced because of the mainstream. It needs to be whitewashed or what have you, or do you feel that this is it's truly a time of true diversity, and then there's opportunities out there to make stories that are authentic like this?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a culmination of a lot of things. It's a culmination of very small things in the beginning, maybe in the 80s and 90s, where we started to see characters and writers who looked like us. Yeah. And one by one, over just accumulation of over decades, people who see themselves represented on screen start to want to do that thing that they see. So if you have some kid like Patricio, who wanted to direct a comic book movie and write his own comic book movie, 10, 15 years later, when he gets the resources, he's going to do it. And that's just what's happening now. This is an accumulation of history going way back, and I'm happy and glad to be just one little insignificant part of it. So,
yeah, no, that's great. Actually, that kind of flows in, and basically connects to this question from Facebook. The humor and the storylines have stayed true to the core values and worldview. What words of wisdom and or directions would you point young BIPOC filmmakers and acting talent as well. I mean, I bet you pretty much summed it up in that. Question to AJ: working on big shows like Mr. Robot and DC's Legends of Tomorrow, was there any type of editing style that you brought over, or even vice versa? So can you talk about which scenes? I don't know if you want to.
Jesus.
Yeah, so specific.
I know. No, I think in general it's just handling just the amount of the different assets we had and the different times of shot, and just bringing it all together to make it cohesive. And definitely I feel like I've had built the experience over 10 plus years in scripted TV, 20 years in post altogether, to really wrangle and know these elements and know what we have, for a movie like this that's indie. With an indie movie, we went like for a superhero movie, which is crazy, with little resources. And I feel like, from my experience, as well as, everyone in the crew and cast, we were able to bring in all our experiences together and make it work, so yeah. But as far as specific scenes, I mean, in general, it was more of I think just the habits and the sound too. I mean, I feel I love the sound of this movie, all the elements, the way the music's working, the pacing was great.
Music,
all these things combined, really worked to make this a fun movie. So
yeah,
no, I like that it was like a
really
90s vibe too.
Yeah. And you can tell by if you watch Lumpia 1 when AJ helped edit to now. I mean, there's no question on just how the effects are huge. I mean, I just applaud AJ on how he edited that movie. It's so much made the movie much more at a different level and much more fun for sure.
Thank you.
Was there? I mean, like definitely. Katrina said like it definitely had 90s feel. I think it has like a definite 80s feel. Just like the freestyle music, and there's like the I mean, all the archive, all the scenes from Lumpia 1 just brought so much nostalgia. To the garage parties and what have you. So, I mean, was there like a checklist of things that you wanted to like put in as for Easter eggs? Like it's like you have a lot of anime influence, right? So, was there like I mean, you even have like the those like ABS-CBN type of like TV drama, like those TFC TV dramas.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, like it's like
Yeah,
a
lot of that was done in post production.
Right.
A lot is done in post production. We AJ and I we were able to kind of like write a lot of the sight gags and do more visual things, and it was just to make it funnier. That was the goal. It was like, how can we make this funnier? That now that it's in the can.
Right. Yeah. I feel like once when we have the story solid, it's like finding little moments or also the little nuance. Like the kind of Filipino soap opera kind of little moment we had there, the moment when the taquito and the lumpia collide, that sound there is from a movie in the 80s. Top secret, so it's that's why I feel Pat and I have a similar sense of humor. This is like kind of got that Naked Gun vibe along with superhero movie. Scott Pilgrim is what I've talked about. Yeah,
Mang Tomas in the teleseries.
Oh my god, I saw that
every
briefly.
Time.
Yeah,
it gets me every time.
Like producer.
Yeah.
Can I just say I love that like the music was all also Filipino with it, like Filipino artists, whatever it may be, but also connected back to the Filipino community aspect, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wandag.
Yeah, for sure. And I think with our choice of songs and the tracks in the song, like with our trailer, we use Buffy, to find you, and we put that in an action scene without having to like tee it up or anything. Like, let's just put it in there. This is like a total like freestyle song, Bay Area from the 90s. Let's just go for it. And I love the diversity of music that we have in there without having to explain everything. Like, this is just the world. Like, you better figure it out. This is how it is here. So.
A question from Facebook regarding the music. How did you get Apple the App and Bamboo? Because they're buddies of these guys, right?
We shot their music videos.
Exactly.
And then I think that was the spoiled riches. We were spoiled because we worked with the videos. We already have relationships with them, and so when it came down to doing a feature film and doing a soundtrack, it just felt inevitable. We wanted to reach out to everyone that we made music videos for and see if they wanted to contribute, and they said yes.
Yeah, that's great. And then, so was it a long, laborious process to kind of work out the music? Because the music's fantastic. I mean, the music supervisor, getting getting like a lot of like Pinoy artists on board, and also getting that kind of 80s 90s feel as well.
I always say that I could be a music supervisor just because I love that part of it. I did that when I was part of the debut. That was one of my first jobs, was to kind of gather music and get contributions from all over the country. But I think with this soundtrack, I think that the goal was to really find a lot of the music I already had in mind when I wrote some of the scenes. So some of the songs I already probably had half of them already, and then a lot of it was figuring it out. I knew we wanted a freestyle music. You had to honor just Filipino American history in general. If you don't know that history of that, we needed to put a freestyle music. That's why Buffy, Jocelyn Enriquez, that was very important to include.
And I think with the score too, great job by Jonathan Wandag and Michael Kobayashi, where we talked about things like as far as score, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China, even Beverly Hills Cop, for the more comedic, lighter scenes. So I think those guys did an amazing job of like really taking the essence of that sound, mixed in with our tracks and the needle drops. Like it just really, really worked. And Rachel was wearing like overalls, so hey,
Right. I have two questions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Anyone want to add anything?
Oh no. I was just gonna add that I think the music definitely kept the feel from Lumpia 1 to Lumpia 2, because the soundtrack it's fairly the same as I felt like as Lumpia 1. Having the same like Mango King and some of the same groups that did make Lumpia 1. So it gave us that music, gave it that same feel, and kind of, for those who watched Lumpia 1, they can kind of have that feel like, oh wow, it's as if it's the first one, but times 2, times 3, much better. But
like even now,
that feel.
Yeah. Like many years later, whenever like I see somebody walk down the street and like it's a pretty girl, I'm just like, even though it's always your face in my head, Francis.
Oh, it's my eyes, man. It's my eyes, Earl. My eyes.
I have 2 questions for Mark. First of all, how much lumpia did you actually eat during the production? I'm essentially like,
I ate so much lumpia. And actually, there was sometimes there was toron in there. Dude,
surprise!
Gotta mix it up sometimes, Mark.
Gotta mix it up. Can't get bored.
We gotta give you all the courses, lunch, breakfast, and then a dessert,
But it's all lumpia inspired.
Yeah.
Like, wait, why is this lumpia all sticky? Oh, is that brown?
I can see some scenes where I was like, that's obviously a turon.
There was a scene. I was like, is that turon? I thought they were gonna crack a turon joke or something. I was like, oh wait, I don't know.
Yeah, so I was surprised when I bit into it. I was like, oh, wait, this is
it's sweet.
Yeah.
There's banana.
I thought they were like, oh, let's be healthy and put a fruit in our movie.
Right. Another question. I think this someone has your same like Rena. Rena asks, Mark, did you want to be in the dance scene with Jart? And how come you didn't bust into your old cotillion moves?
Oh damn! Called out.
Hey man, you know what? Just to give you background, I used to choreograph cotillions.
Oh,
what?
All right.
You did do Wrecking Ball.
Make a note of that for the next movie.
There you go. Yeah.
But Anderson, just like even though Mark did not perform in the movie, during our lunch break during the film, he was dancing during lunch. So just let you know.
Yeah, that's right.
So just freestyle his own dance during lunchtime.
In high school.
For Lumpia,
the high school.
Dance, right? All the Lumpia dance.
Yeah, Lumpia 3, man. You got it right there. Kuya just wants to dance.
Electric Boogaloo right here. We're gonna dance right now.
There's gonna be Step Up or Stomp the Yard, but like Lumpia.
Hey, Pat, we got
Yeah. So I mean, this is brand new. This is like the print is still wet, as they say, right? So I mean, this is the world premiere. We're gonna basically and this is like this is the one-time screen for now, but it's gonna go back online at the festival. on November 16th. Hawaii only, unfortunately, for viewing. But then we're going to have a couple screenings in theaters at the Consolidated Pearl Ridge, I believe next weekend, the 13th, November 13th. We're going to have 2 shows there, socially distanced. Yeah, Pat will be there as well. But we're also doing a drive-in screening at the Ala Moana Center. So
Nice.
it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. But this kind of leads into a next question. Like someone asked, when are we going to see this in theaters? What's the next movie? What's the plan here, Pat?
We need to get picked up. We're a total independent film without a distributor, and so this was really, the buzz on this was good. And so if you really like this movie, like share your reactions. Tell us. Don't spoil it. Of course. But show to people. Share what you liked about it, and hopefully, that buzz is good enough that we do get picked up by a distributor that it will be able to have a wider release next year. And that's the goal, right? If you like this movie, share your food, share your lumpia. We want to share this with other folks that weren't lucky enough to watch the world premiere tonight, or even any of the festival screenings. So
yeah, I mean, we live in strange times, but at least having it streaming, it's allows us to have this premiere and then have it for a limited time, across the nation, right? So that's really cool. But I think always, for any filmmakers, always the intention is to see it on the big screen in the theater, right? So, but Pat, you'll be at the screening next week, right?
Friday, I can't wait for Friday. I'll be there both screenings. I'm gonna sleep in the theater, by the way, Anderson. I'm just telling you. And I'm gonna sneak in the drive-in. I'm gonna just go.
Oh,
stay there overnight, camp out.
Yeah. Makeshift car.
Yeah, exactly. But so basically, I think we're gonna wrap up this Q&A. Before we go, I want to just I know that you have some plans for an after party online. But also before we do that, talk about. Basically, just give out your social media handles. How can people follow the film?
LumpiaMovie.com. That is our main website, and of course everything through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We're all at Lumpia Movie. So everything you want, if you want to listen to the soundtrack, if you want to get the comic book, merchandise or whatever, or our next screenings, it's all there. Follow us, and that's the important thing too. If you want to see this wider release, definitely subscribe and follow us so that they see just how big of an audience are craving and want to. Are craving for this film. So yeah, we need your help. Even though it took us 7 years to get to this point, this is actually this is the beginning of a new journey for us now that the movie's out there. So, yeah.
I did see some product placement of L&L in the film.
There's history. I directed the commercial, so they've been a very avid supporter. When everyone else was saying no, L&L came in to rescue us. So I gotta give props to L&L. I mean, you keep going because of the people who believe in you and say yes. So L&L Hawaiian Barbecue, props out to you guys.
Yeah. That scene, I was like, oh, sponsor. Like centered.
Well, they also gave me some musubi.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they are sponsoring this screening. So
thank you.
Thank you. Now, yes.
Free spam musubi for everyone. Woo!
Yes.
Lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
But Pat, talk about the after party you're going to host.
Go to lumpiamovie.com. We'll have the link there. Go to I Am Slam and Sam. He's going to be our DJ. We're gonna try to pack as many people in the Zoom thing. We're testing this new thing. So I see people already coming in. I know they're waiting for me to let people in, but we're waiting for the DJ. We can't start the party yet without the DJ. But find the link. We're gonna post it on our social media, but once you get that, join us in. Some of the cast will be here. We'll just hang out, and we also have a spoiler room. So if you watch the film and you just want to share, we have a spoiler room where you can just
I can't hold it in anymore.
Yeah, just share it.
That thing.
Yes.
I want to share this with everybody.
We are the Zoom generation, man. This is like you get these spoiler rooms. It's like that. But exactly. So thank you guys. Thank you so much to Lumpia with the Vengeance cast and crew. This is a really, really fun screening. I'm just glad, Pat and AJ, I'm just glad this film is done. It's actually out in the open. Exactly. It's out in the open. It's out to the world. You birthed it, and hopefully, and then I'm looking forward to the kind of the cinematic comic book universe that you guys are developing here. I mean, I think this can definitely live beyond movies. There's TV, there's graphic novels, you name it. So I think it's you got a lot of potential IP here. Like the great, to build this universe is really gonna be really fun. That's always the fun part, creating these universes anyway, right? So
thank you, Anderson. You were the first believer.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ends our discussion today with the Lumpia with a Vengeance crew. And a special mahalo to all of our HIF sponsors, board of directors, and our HIF Ohana members. Please be safe and healthy. Also, please consider making a contribution to our HIFF40 for 40 fundraising campaign and help us raise $40,000 by the end of the festival to ensure that HIF continues its mission of being the film festival record for the Asia Pacific Rim. For more details and to make a contribution, go to HIF.org/40for40. That's HIF.org/40-FOR-40. Okay? So without further ado, thank you again, guys.
Hello.
We'll join you at the after party.
Love that.
I love Joey. Was hilarious. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you at the after party.
See you at the after party, guys.
Bye.
After party.